Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Cristina and I come to you from Lisbon, Portugal. I'm here today to do one of the several tags that I have to do. What I mean is that I was tagged by many people in several tags, and I forgot to take note of who tagged me and what the tags were. So what I'm going to do, because it's already too late today and I didn't have time to try to find out who tagged me in this particular tag I'm going to do today. And I chose this one because for me it's the easiest one to do, because I'm back at work, so it feels quite good after 1 year without working. And it was not 1 year of holidays, unfortunately, so it's good to be back at the normal rhythm of life. But I am behind in lots of stuff. So today I'm going to start with this tag video. I hope that I'm able to film other videos that I'd like to film this week, and I'm going to try to find who tagged me in this tag, and then I will write in the description box. And I already apologize for not naming them in the video because I really didn't have the time to look them up. And I also going to tag already 3 people. I'm going to tag Victoria from A Musical Bookworm. I'm going to tag Christy Lewis from Christy Lewis Dostoevsky in Space, and Kate Howe from Kate Howe. So already tagged these 3 people, and the tag is, as the title says, the Mookse and the GRIPES bucket list book tag. This was created by SHAWN the MANIAC, and it is to, in a way, bring attention to an audio podcast which is called the Mookse and the GRIPES. I am sweating a lot. It's still too hot inside the house. So this it's a podcast. The first episode here, it's from the 31st of July, and the first episode was called Bucket List Books. So this tag is called precisely the Mookse and the GRIPES bucket list book tag. And the idea, at least Sean suggested, that we list 10 books that we would like to read before we kick the bucket, and to give he as an option, he said that people in the comments could pick 2 of these books that then in this case I would read in 2022. So I didn't spend a lot of time thinking of books I want to read before I die. What I did was I went to my bookcase and took out 10 books that I know I want to read, and I do have them, so they are in my shelves, except for one which I only have in digital form, and it's Proust à la recherche du temps perdu. And I always wanted to read this since I heard about this book when I was in secondary school, or even before, I don't know. My sister read them. There are 7 volumes in this work, and she said that she really liked them, and my idea is to read them in French. So I have them in French in digital form, and I would like to do, as the other day I read a message John Warner said that he read a book. I cannot remember now the book, which book it was, but it was a book that was originally written in Italian. So he said that he would read a chapter in the morning in Italian, and then in the evening he would read the translation. And I think that this is more or less what I want to do with Proust, if I feel the need to. What I mean is that when I was young, I could read and speak French fluently. But then I stopped reading and talking in French. And for a long time, I don't remember when was the last time. So I can still understand French, I can still read it, but I'm a little bit rusty in a way. So my idea is to read this in French slowly. It's going to be a long project. And then if I need, I would read a translation. So that's number one, À la recherche du temps perdu, by Marcel Proust. Then it was not randomly, but they are books that I have that I want to read. So one of them is, and that I never read, that's what I mean, because some of the books I have I want to reread and reread several times, but I didn't pick those. I picked 10 or 9 in this case that I really want to read and that I haven't read yet. So this is a classic, an American classic, To Kill a Mockingbird, and I know I have an idea of what it's about, because I know that it deals with racism and someone a black person who is accused of murder, and a lawyer and that is going to defend him in court. And this is also, I know that this is told by the daughter of the lawyer, I think. And my idea of this is that it's during those times where racism was very high in society, in this society at least. I think it's the American South, but I'm not sure because I really haven't read it. Then another book, which is again a big classic of, I'm finding funny because this book has some photos of and drawings here, but another book is Moby Dick. So this is a book I faked read when I was in university. It was one of the assigned books, but we had so many assigned books, and as always when they are compulsory, my tendency is to avoid those books. So I read bits here and there, but I never picked it up to read it seriously. And lots of people that have read this book say that it's very good. I believe it is. It's not a classic just because. So I am going to read this as well. Then another one which this one, it's a book I bought in the only bookshop that I know that has second-hand books here, and they are not especially cheap, as I see in other channels that people buy books for 50 cents or $1. No, this cost me, I don't know, it says here 8. So, and it's Vanity Fair by William Thackeray, and it's a classic. Again, never read it. I have an idea that the main character is a woman that is kind of obsessed with money and status, I think, but I don't know. I will have to read it to know. So this is another classic that I know a lot about, so I've heard about this book since forever. I read many short stories and plays by Oscar Wilde, and I liked him a lot, both the plays and the short stories. I never read this book. I know that the main idea is that there is Dorian Gray is a man that wants to remain beautiful, young and beautiful, so he did a pact, I guess, with the devil, I don't know. I'm sorry, I'm not used to talk anymore. So, and I know that the idea is that he has a picture of himself, a painting of a portrait, sorry, and he, what happens is that he keeps his youth and beauty, but the picture becomes ugly and old, because I have an idea that he has not a very wholesome life. So it is, I don't know, I haven't read the book, but the fact is that the physiognomy of the portrait in the picture becomes very ugly and showing the signs of his life, which I cannot remember now the adjective I wanted to use, so never mind. But I am curious about this too. Then what do I have here? Oh, I have here two of my precious annotated editions of two classics, and I want to read them. One is Dracula by Bram Stoker, and I want to read them. I want to read this edition actually, and my idea is that this is a book that started it's not the first book about vampires, but it's perhaps the one that popularized the genre in a way. And another book is, again, annotated book, is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. And I think that this version compares some of the differences between the two versions of the book, because Mary Shelley wrote the first version in 1818, and then she revised her book and wrote it again published it again in 1831. So I am curious about the differences, and I think that these notes refer to those differences. Then I have two other books. One is again a classic that I have and I want to read. I don't know much about the book. It's Dr. Zhivago. I even haven't seen the film. I have the film because I have most David Lean films, but I never watched this one, the film, the adaptation of this book. I want to read the book first anyway, so and it's Dr. Zhivago, okay? And so what I was talking about before I was interrupted was this book here, and this is the original book, so written in Castilian, and I was saying that the great majority of the Portuguese can understand the language, but sometimes there are false friends and things like that, so I am not always 100% sure if what I think it's written, it's the truth, it's what in reality it is. So what I mean to do is, if I find it difficult to follow, I will also use a translation in parallel with the original work. Finally, I have a book which is non-fiction, but it's also a classic. I have read some bits of this Marcel de Montaigne, the essays. These are in English because they were written in, I think, the 16th century. I'm not sure, but so I thought that I would need more modern translation. I've always either read bits or saw some quotes in other books, and I remember that Montaigne was considered in a way the father of the essay. So I am very curious about everything he wrote, and these are the complete works. I'm going first to read the essays, and then I have here also letters and other types of things. So, but the essays is what I want to read. And so these were my picks for this Mookse and GRIPES bucket list book tag. If you want, you can vote or pick 2 books for me to read in 2022. I hope to see you soon, and for now, this is it.